So that's where we want that. All right. Hi, everybody. It's Lesley and Carolyn, and Catherine is with us tonight in the studio too. This is the next meetup really of how do I do blah. Carolyn has been gracious to answer questions that are about movement. But in most things we get are movement oriented, but sometimes there will be a question about a functional life activity. Sometimes my questions are a little bit more mental, like a mental side of dealing with problems. So sometimes we get into that also. And so tonight we're going to answer two questions. So we're going to move through that. One of them is, how do I create lift? How do I go up in my body? Making space from support. The other question we're going to actually approach is the total contrast of that is, how do I maintain an anchor? How do I work with the anchoring or the ground? Okay, so here we go.
And both of them, those questions can be answered in the same way.
Fun.
So we're going to start with, how do we pull ourselves down?
Okay.
Rather than how do we lift up? So one of the ways, I was just talking with Catherine here, and what did we just discover for you? That you were standing how?
Too far backward.
Okay, great. So everybody just take, just go ahead and go backwards like that. And now we're going to exaggerate that. If you keep exaggerating, this is what Alexander called a downward pull. That I'm pulling myself back and down. So if you keep going with that, either your head's going to fall back this way, or you have to project your neck forward. Okay, now, have I gotten shorter? Have we all gotten shorter?
Yeah.
So this is clearly not up. So if you're find yourself in this type of a downward pull, then we're just going to let the neck be free and very gently allow the head to move up, but let the whole body begin to release from sternum away. Good, Catherine. Sternum release up and kind of forward. And then you have to let your pelvis, the sit bones, come away from the back of your legs so that the torso is nice, so that the torso can be forward and up. And that's as up as you have to go, as you have to be. If we add up to that, then you have to do something. It's like, well, I've got to chuck it in, hold it up, and hold myself there. But that's a holding. That's not being upright and not held. Relax but not collapse. That's a Tai Chi principle.
Relax but not collapsed.
And upright, but not held. Mm-hmm. All right, so that's one way. So one more time, we're all gonna just go a little bit this time. We're not gonna exaggerate it too much. This time we're just gonna go a little bit back with us, like sit bones are coming forward, but yeah, there we go. And can you feel how you went down?
Yes.
And there's compression in the spine now. There's compression in here, especially in the lower back. Yeah. Right. So then very gently just release those hamstrings. Let your neck be free. Good. Let your head move up. Let your whole torso follow. Ribs away from hips, hips away from ribs without pulling. Just a thought. Good. Good. Okay. So that's one kind of downward pull. All right, here is, you want to demonstrate another kind of downward pull?
Sure. I think I might know where you're going, but go ahead.
All right.
Okay. You mean just
Yeah.
like a different one?
Yeah, can they, yeah, they can, yeah, different kind of downward. Oh, that's a good one. Okay. So, all right, so that one is kind of, you went forward, but you pulled the neck back. How did you do that?
Oh, yeah.
Like,
So it's like all this sinks down. Yeah, all that sinks down, but then you sort of know that you're not supposed to be like this. So then you pull your neck back, kind of back that. Okay, but I mean, just stay there and then try to, oh boy. Yeah. Oh yeah, Lesley has her head up like this. Okay, so good. So now we have this crunched down like this, and the neck forward and the head tilted back like that. So forward. So this is what Alexander called another kind of back and down. So we're you're gonna release your neck and your head's gonna start to come up and it's gonna start to tilt forward on top of your spine and your whole torso follows that. Mhm. And then you want it when you tilt forward, let's come over here so they can see your head. And I'll work with this with Lesley too. So, can you go back to that slump? There you go. Good. Good. Now see if you can do this one without the sit bones going with it. Just come around over your upper back. There you go. Now tilt your head back. That's what Lesley was doing. Yeah. That's without this part going back. Yeah, great. So then
No, it feels awful.
you're all compressed back here. So then we let your whole neck be free. Let your whole body follow that. Your torso. Good. Up you go. And then so now your head is tilted forward, but not just it has you go back down again. Go back down. See how your head tilts back?
Yeah.
Can you feel that? Okay, so as you come up out of that, easy. You're gonna unfold the whole front of you. Easy. And yeah. So it doesn't have to go too far forward. It just has to recover to neutral, right, without going beyond that. Unless you wanted to look down. Okay, good. So I'm going to do that with Lesley too. All right, come over here a little bit more. And then
My pattern.
down we go. Rounding forward. All right. And round forward from here a little bit more. You have your shoulders down. So there you go. Okay. So can you see that Lesley's head is tilted back on top of her spine? Right? So we're gonna let the neck lengthen, good, and then you see how her head adjusted and came forward, but you want to let that be free, yeah, so it doesn't come so far forward and get locked, thinking that you have to be in this forward position like this, which we call that Alexandroids. The people took Alexander's words, which he said, I'm pulling myself back. He did a different thing, but this would be one pulling the head back and down. It's like a bull, and you grab the horns of the bull. That's how they get them down on the ground. Is they pull their
head
let's
back.
do this. You pull your head back and down, and then they twist them, and down the bull goes.
Yeah.
So then the bull goes, oh no, you don't, and he lengthens his whole torso, and he comes up, and then he's ready to. Okay, so that's a back and down. Good. And then when you recover from that looking up, you want to just really find, you might have to look in the mirror like Alexander did and notice if you went beyond neutral. This is neutral. And if I go beyond neutral, I'm like this.
Yeah.
And that's great if I want to look down on the ground. But I want to just go know what neutral is. So neutral would be a little bit more like that. Okay. You see the difference in her face and her expression in her eyes. Go ahead and look down. Yeah. Now you have to look at Catherine in a, with the eyeballs have to go up. But there you go. Yeah. Then you get to see your full face. So if you're doing this at home, you look in the mirror, and if you see that your eyeballs have like more white at the bottom and your pupils are up, then you'll know that your head is too far forward to look at yourself in the mirror. So then you let your head tilt back, then the eyes can make their adjustment. Yeah, and that's how you can tell by looking in the mirror. Okay, so we're gonna do my back and down. All right, so, and this was Alexander's back and down. So that was, he narrowed his back.
We did.
Yeah, and like the military, and he pulled his neck back like that, and he would be like, to be or not to be, that is the question. So yeah, okay, so yeah, So then you can feel all that tension. So he called that's another kind of back and down. Because his back muscles are narrowing and shortening. Causing
Okay.
compression by that way. So out of that, yeah, and I did that for years as a dancer, ballet dancer. So from here, now, instead of my neck being like this and my neck heading on the back, my head tilt forward, I'm the opposite way. So now I have to go, my neck has to release and go forward, and my back has to widen. Like, yeah, widen and lengthen. Yeah, good. So I think people like this one better. Because it feels more comfortable, just like you feel like you're kind of
Hanging out.
hanging out, right,
Yeah.
right. And this is like, oh, your parents told you to stand up straight and that's the posture.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Hanging out versus stiff.
yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
okay.
Mhm.
Sure.
So the one is relaxed and collapsed. This one is relaxed and collapsed. Instead of relaxed and not collapsed. And this one is being upright and held instead of upright and relaxed, where all of your bones can just rest on the center of each of the joints. So that's the only way you can be up, is if you're on the center of all your joints. Ankles, feet, yep. All of this. If you're back here, that's not over the center of your joint. Well, you can go back, and of course you can do all these movements, but it has to come from a neutral centered over the joints, and then you can move in any direction. Any joint, because it's in the center of the joint. But if you're hanging out on the side of the joint or behind the joint, and you try to move from there, you only have a certain part of that surface that you can move around and be supported by.
Do you want to try movement with us? We teach this in gyrokinesis all the time, and it's really exactly what you're saying. It's they call it standing figure eights, but basically the knees are soft and the path of travel has a side to side lunge. But then we're going to start to basically go from the center of those leg joints with this piece working. Is we're gonna spiral. Yes. And the turning would be like enabling your shift. That makes sense. The turning is enabling my shift.
So that would be the sockets of one thing. And yeah.
Yeah.
Here, yeah. Good.
Do you like that?
So-
Does that make sense with your idea?
I think so.
So I feel like it's not hard to be up here because you keep finding the center of your joint so much. You keep finding the center of your feet and your legs.
Let me address one little way of getting into that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So usually when we do anything down, like we're lower this
Lower.
way, our thought is to go down,
Oh, okay.
to bend our knees down. Think of your knees releasing forward from your sit bones and sit bones going back. So it's just like we worked with you in standing. So instead of thinking down, you're going to go down because your ankle joints are releasing forward, your knee joints are releasing forward, and your sit bones are going back here.
So I'm just like free.
Free. Right. And then so you don't want to be tucked under either. Just free. Okay, good. Okay, and now go ahead. You can put your feet a little further apart, I think. Okay, so pause for 1 second. Come up straight. Second. Okay. So first you want to find yourself in the center, resting in the center of your joints, your leg joints, right in the front, way in here. Okay. So come straight, come straight. So first of all, you have to have your seating of all your joints that let your legs be straight. You want them need to be seated when you're standing first.
Stand in.
Okay, so your ankle is resting on, that's it. So did you feel a little different there? So this is the anchoring too. So Catherine was just, oh, nobody's there.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there.
Maybe
I should have my.
So if you're gripping your muscles in your feet to stand, you're not anchored. You're holding up.
You're holding.
Holding. So you want your feet to be releasing. So Alexander said toes forward and away from your heels. Heels back and down. And also toes away from each other. So you have the width of your foot. That's it. Then your tibia can rest down on top of the towel. So resting. Okay. Good. And then your knees, straighten your knees. And this would be quadriceps are soft, not gripping.
Straight leg stretch.
Yeah, it's better. Are you holding your legs over? This is good.
Yeah.
Good. So that's what I mean by more in the center. Then the pelvis, it's like Lesley, he's like, yes, that's your pelvis resting on your leg joints, which are in here. And then your sacrum is resting in between your pelvis and your ribs. Your lumbar spine is resting on the sacrum. Then are resting up on top of your ribs. So right now they were sort of forward this way. So that means they are not sitting right directly on top of your ribs. Okay, okay there. A little bit more forward. That's it. Good. Okay, and then your neck is resting, but it's not collapsed. That's it. Great. Good. Now release your knees forward. And your sit bones are just gonna go back. You're gonna release your hands. That's it. That was a release of your hamstrings. Good. The release of your calves. Okay.
My bones feel.
Yeah. Good. And then you start this. Over here. And then over there, and keep taking the shoulders, maybe the right thing on top. Good. Good. Now you can feel the ankle movement. You feel your knees. This is better. Your legs joint. What does that feel like compared to how what you were doing the first time? Yeah. So this is up right here. So have a seat and you're gonna do your pocket. I lost the seating there. There you go. Yeah, right. Yeah, and then you want to make sure that this isn't falling down over the front. Yeah. Right. Okay. So go a little wider now. And feel the same thing. Feet are release. That's anchoring is not gripping. That's what they told Alexander. To project, they would tell it, what is that teacher called it, to get a hold of the floor. And he took that literally and ripped his feet off his toes. To like, okay, I'm like really. But this is like roots of the tree. And if the ground is real hard and tight, the roots can't go like that, and the fruit tree can't do this. Good, good. Yeah, and you have two legs. You've got two sockets, so one on either side. Your arms are just, good. That looks good. And then from here, with everything centered in your head up on top of your spine so that you don't have any weight going that way, then you start allowing the sockets to roll around the ball. Yeah, good. And over to the other side. And turning. So you're doing the turning, right? So here you have to make sure on this, as you change, that you don't start gripping somewhere. And that you still are real open. Nice. So I would say I would let your head just come up a little bit more. Right.
We're practicing it.
That's it. And then lots of space through here, Catherine, a little more like up and out that way. Yeah, because if it's here, it's gonna take everything off of its seating. It's gonna feel heavier.
I'm thinking of this, but still keep the back wide, and that's what I'm.
Oh, yeah.
That's.
This is nice. So what happens is when you start to turn, this is what tends to happen is you go off your seating like this. I'm exaggerating. Or somebody might do this. You know, it might have it arching. Yeah. So that was a good workout on your. So that would strengthen your thigh. Right, with it, but you want it to be strengthened with you thinking about the center of your joints. So your primary control, which is the relationship of your head to your neck. Went up?
Yeah, just one right there.
Straight back, Gail. Do you want to sit and rest?
Okay.
So what were you doing just now?
I just bent down again. I was,
Yeah. Okay. It's fun. So. Something about release your bounce back. Anything.
up there.
So when you get to so far.
Yes, it's there.
Okay, and there's a pain, there's a
No,
little
it's not,
pain.
it's not quite a pain, it's a weekend.
Okay, all right. So make sure you go up and you go down, like up. Okay, and then that's probably, yeah, you probably just have overused that. You have to rest it a little bit. Yeah, I just like. Okay, so, so then if you're doing anything laying down, toes, then it's the same thing. So let's go down on our knees. Okay? We'll do it with a roll down, okay? So you don't have to bend your knees, right? When you can put some weight on your.
Do you want to use the mat?
Oh, okay.
Do you want a mat?
No,
Okay.
So you're gonna do roll down. So you're gonna widen your back. You think it's stay there, Jill. And that way. Good. Okay, going down. Check your toes. Are you stretching your toes? Oh, yeah. Your feet are nice and released, so there's always the release into the floor, whenever's touching the floor. Good. Good. Yeah. Nice. Forward. You want your tibia to be resting on your. Okay, and then going from here, just gonna feel the support under your feet. You're gonna walk your hands forward and feel the support. Release your hands, your fingers, your hands into the ground for your ankle. And there's your downward dog. Okay, and then if you need to go down on your right knee, instead of your left knee, you can do that. But just keep, yeah, keep releasing, good, good, nice. So in this position, if you're gonna be doing like cat and cow, then we're gonna turn this hand out a little bit more so that the weight is coming through this finger. That supports your arm structure, the right arm. Okay, and then release, good, you release the arms, and what's really nice here, Kathy, is that your arm is spiraled back in the socket. That's really nice, good. And your knee, are you okay on this knee? So you're just resting everything. Resting the bones on your that are underneath the bones, and the muscles on top of the bones are resting on.
So the arm that stays
Top of the
down.
bones, good.
Make sure you're.
Now,
Push the shoulder down.
for neutral spine, this part is up. So this is all cat from here to here. And from here down is cow. So you're gonna do a little anterior tilt here. The other way, that way, yes. So you have your socket, so you're resting the pelvis on the socket. Or the socket's on the ball of the femur. But this comes up, this part comes up to the ceiling. To the ceiling. That's it, there. So you have your curve here. And you have your long curve here. So this is neutral. That looks nice.
Lift your arms back up to the ceiling. Come center.
So a little more here.
Twist your pelvis once you're there, lower your arms to the T. You move up to the ceiling. Nope, from center.
Nope.
Again. So twist your
Yeah,
pelvis
more
more, you'll
Good.
bring it back.
So this is real strong. So the anchor, yes, that is through all of this. Releasing.
Twist and counter, twist actively counter, twist your pelvis.
Yeah.
Pull your left hip back.
So anytime anything goes down, there is an anti-gravity response. Good. Your neck feels good. Okay, so now you're gonna go to all. So your head goes down, your tailbone goes down. Good. Nice, your back widens. And now, is anything gripping in your legs? Did you start to tighten your hands, your arms? Anything in here? Did you start to tighten, unbreathe? The word Alexander used. Good, good. Now, go back to neutral from here. So this stays up, this stays up, and this part goes into, that's it. Good, you can go a little more anterior tilt. There you go. Excellent. That's good.
Stay where you are.
Okay, now bring your hands a little bit further away. I think it'll be easier to see. Okay, now go into all. Head, that's nice. Good. Good. And now you can let this part, you can think of a big arc in here, this way and lengthwise. Good. And check to see if your pelvis is really resting on this, oh, no, on the socket. Sorry, I was just pointing. Oh, sorry. So rest, you're not doing anything in your glutes, nothing, no work other than what you need. Good. Great. And maybe yeah, there you go. Good. Did your hands get tight when you did that? Yeah, so you want to keep, okay. And then go back to neutral from here, which means you bring back, you keep your cow and you bring back your cat. You were doing good. That's it. That's it. And notice if you tightened anything, any extra in your calves, in your feet. So your anchor is whatever's touching the floor. And then take that back into child's pose. And are you tightening anything? Or your thumb?
The hands and the fingers away from are hard.
Mhm.
That's hard for me.
Mhm.
I feel like I'm blocked in my wrist.
Mhm. Yeah, so the forearms go away from the hands. And so that's good. Make it spiral. Good. You can on your knees here. How about you,
Yeah.
Catherine? You okay on your knees? Okay. And then spiral your arms this way. Yeah. Okay, excellent. So, from there, if you want to just roll on your back for a minute, we're at 5 after, but we started a little late. And then how about, can you feel everything resting into the floor as you roll onto your side? What's resting? Like as you go, what's anchored, what's released? My anchor is anything that's touching the floor. I'm releasing everything into the floor that is on the floor or whatever surface you're on. Pilates equipment or gyro. Mm-hmm. And then now you're anchored into sleep.
Soon.
So then from here, if you want to raise an arm, you rest the shoulder blades back into the floor to have your arm come forward to the ceiling. Resting the shoulder blades back, resting anything that's touching the floor. Heels away from toes, toes away from heels. Knees knees forward and away to the ceiling. Pelvis back to the floor. You can have, it just doesn't matter either way. Okay, and then let that arm, keep your arms like that, shoulder blades on the floor. Oops, sorry. Go back to this one. Okay. Yeah, this one, just one. Think of this arm. I think this one has to go up to your ear, maybe the shoulder blade up to your ear. This way. Yeah, so you're lengthening your whole torso. Arms. Good. Okay, now with your arms up, bring one knee up to the ceiling. And now here, your pelvis is going back into the floor. That's it, to bring your leg up and stretch it up. Stretch it up to the ceiling. Yeah, that's good. And then sense the other foot on the floor. Your lower leg is going up away from your foot. Your upper leg is going up towards the ceiling away from your pelvis. Pelvis is going back to the floor. Foot's going back to the floor. Good. And now let that leg come down straight down. Out straight. Lengthening. And your anchor is whatever's touching the floor. Your head, your shoulder blades, your pelvis, your back at the lower part of your ribs. Good. And let it stretch all the way down. All the way down. Feeling your anchor in all those places that are touching the good. And then bring the other leg up. You can even do it with one leg straight or both one leg bent. Yeah. Good. And resting. Every time you're sitting, resting your pelvis back to the floor. And then straight down and long. Resting. And lengthening from your psoas. Your iliacus on the way down. Good. Okay, bring your arms up to this, wherever you can put them. You can put one arm out, one arm up there or down or wherever. Okay. Oh, this looks tighter. It's more free. Okay, now this is going to be a little challenging.
Okay.
Okay, so you're going to bring both legs up. Then you can bend them up. Yeah. Here. And up to the ceiling. Now, have you pulled your shoulder blades away from the floor? Have you put?
Yeah.
Pulled your, yeah. Okay, good. Yes, good. Resting. Protect your neck. See if your neck is free. And the weight of your head is resting on the floor. That's an anchor too. And then let both legs come down at the same time, nice and slow. Long, Catherine, long. Back of the knees. No, okay. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. So that's how you work towards being able to do that, is with your You know what? Maybe it would be easier with your arms up above you. Well, you don't have to do it.
But also the hard pull for the,
Oh, oh,
if I had something felt in my head.
oh,
Yeah,
oh.
let me put that on.
Did that, you wanna try it?
Yes.
So I hope you guys can explore doing different things, standing, sitting. So you need this long ways or?
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, it's a long ways in here. Give yourself enough room for your legs to come down there. So. Yeah, and they could even go up.
Let's see what I do.
Oh, I do it all kinds of different ways. I do it with my arms out and up or down. But maybe out to the side. Okay. And resting. Okay, good. Yeah. Yeah. Did you feel resting, sort of? It'll change. The pressure will change in different places.
Well, that's a challenge to do. So I just, I mean, when you say resting, you mean as we're going down?
Yeah,
Well,
Yeah,
it's
no.
a challenge to do that. though.
right. The abdominals will work, but the resting, the support, the anchoring is the release into the floor.
Yes.
Wherever you're touching the
Yes.
floor, and then whatever needs to work will work. But you don't have to even think about working them
Oh, there.
because they'll work. Because they have to,
That's all right.
but you don't have to work everything else.
That's the thing. That's the thing. Oh, that's great. That's
Only what
great.
you need to. So if you want to build more muscle, then you have to add a weight or more reps or more squats or, but not more tension, not more tightness, not more.
Yeah. Tension.
That's it.
Oh, thank you.
Anchors away.
Thank you so much.
I'm glad you could come in. Yeah. Did you ever learn the 8-part arm sequence? Did I ever?
Well, Leslie has a video of it. I know I've seen you do, but I don't know if I don't know if I,
Oh,
I'll review the video.
Goodbye, everyone.
yeah.
See you next time. Any questions, please ask.
Because it's